guys, welcome back to Green Waterfish. Today I want to tackle a very commonly asked question, and that is, what kind of plants can I keep with my goldfish? Now, that's a question that a lot of us have struggled with if you have ever tried putting any live plants in your goldfish tank. The most common consequence of doing that is after a couple of days, you realize that your goldfish has eaten up all of your live plants, or destroyed them, or unrooted them, whatever they want to do. So here I just want to go over some of the natural behavior for goldfish and some of the options that you have. Now, goldfish is selectively bred from carp, and if you have read anything about carp in the wilderness or in their natural habitat, carp is omnivore, meaning that carp eats anything. Omnivore is basically a term that describes a behavior that eats both plant-based food and animal-based food. So that means that goldfish will eat plants, and that's a behavior that they carry even though they were selectively bred from thousands of years ago from their ancestor wild type carp, but they still do that. Now, what they do every day is in their natural habitat, they would go over the bottom of the river or the lake, whatever you call it, and try to pick up whatever that they can eat throughout the day. So in a natural environment, they will try to pick up little bits of treats here and there throughout the day by scavenging the bottom or their surrounding. Now, you put them in an aquarium setting in a captivity. You have to feed them regularly once or twice a day, however you plan to do it. Now, some of us have noticed that if you put substrate on the bottom of the tank, goldfish will try to look for food on the bottom, trying to take some of the sand in or gravel and spit some out. This is their way of trying to scavenge for any leftover food that might be left in the substrate. Now, another way that this behavior can interrupt with your plants is that when they're scavenging on the bottom, they stir up the gravel or the substrate, and for the plants that were not planted properly or very loosely planted, they can easily just disturb the plant and the plant may float up and uproot the plant. Especially for a newly planted aquarium where the root system has not fully developed yet, that behavior can easily uproot the plant, even if the goldfish didn't mean to pull up your plants. Now, a second behavior that they had is that as they look for food, plant or animal based, they look for anything that they can eat. So they try to eat whatever that they can fit in their mouth. They will try to taste the plants as well. For younger and more delicate plants, they tend to like that a lot better, and that's it's easier for them to break apart as well. So they tend to eat these plants as well. Well, when they're eating the plants, they're trying to pull up the plants as well. So even though they may not mean to pull up the plants, but if they try hard enough, they can uproot some of the smaller plants or plants that doesn't have a strong root system. Now we can go into the second topic, which is what kind of plants can I go with? Now, one way to deal with this is to choose plants that goldfish tend to not like to eat. As you can see here in my aquarium, I have put 3 different kinds of crypt and Java fern in here. Now, I have not just been running this tank for one day. This setup has been running for 3 months. And I know that my goldfish did not touch these plants, or not as much that's as noticeable. So for the tallest one in the middle, right here, is the crypt balancé, and then to the left is the bronze crypt, and behind is some regular green crypts. And on the bottom is the Java fern that I tie on a rock. And you can check out the video here for how to tie Java fern or whatever plants on rocks or wood or anything. So these are the plants that I try for my goldfish, and before I try these plants, I actually know that goldfish doesn't like these plants. Crypts are not the hardiest plant texture-wise, but goldfish seem to not like to eat them, especially for bigger and stronger crypts. Like Brown's crypts, balancei, these bigger crypts tend to be tougher and probably not tasty for them. For Java fern, either being regular Java fern, narrowleaf fern, these plants are extremely tough, and you have to actually try to break the leaves by humans, by us. So you can't really imagine the goldfish being able to chew them up, and they probably don't like the taste of it either. Some of the other plants that I have tried in the past that are successful include Anubia. Anubia is an extremely favorable plant for goldfish aquarium, partially because they are extremely tough. If you have ever felt the leaves for Anubia, any kinds of Anubia, even Anubia nata, they are extremely strong, and there's no way that goldfish can chew them up or tear them up. And another benefit of having Anubia, kind of similar to Java fern, is that they actually do better if you don't bury them in a substrate. Now this way you can avoid having substrates or gravels on the bottom of the tank by tying these plants onto rocks and driftwoods. That can help you with escaping a little bit and also makes it a lot easier to maintain, and the plants do a lot better. Another benefit of having these plants, Anubia or ferns, is that they're low light plants, meaning that they don't require that much light for plant growth. So that's ideal for a goldfish plant in aquarium, because like most of us, if you are going for a goldfish aquarium, you probably wouldn't have that kind of lighting system that's suitable for medium or high light plants. So these plants will survive in this environment. And the last plant that I want to touch on is Amazon sword. Any kinds of Amazon sword is perfect for goldfish. Likewise, they're strong, they're tough, they're not easy for goldfish to chew up. They probably don't like the taste of it either. But for Amazon swords, since it's very heavily rooted plant, it needs a thick layer of substrate and a substantial amount of nutrient under the substrate as continuous nutrition supply. And Amazon sword tends to be medium or high light plants, so if you choose to use that plant, make sure that you select the right amount of lighting system to satisfy the plant needs. So these are some of the options that you can choose from a plant type kind of a stand of view. Another way to look at this problem is to select the kind of plants that propagate or grow extremely fast so that it can catch up with the speed that goldfish eats them. Some of the examples include Java moss or duckweeds. These plants are extremely fast growing. Even though goldfish love eating Java moss and duckweeds, they grow so fast that the plants can catch up and doesn't really create too much of a difference. Now that I have gone over some of the aspects of what kind of plants to keep for goldfish, just want to let you know keeping plants with goldfish is definitely doable. It just requires a little bit more work and some trial runs. Even if the list can be very exhaustive for the type of plants that you can try on, different goldfish are completely different, and some goldfish might prefer certain plants versus the others. So a lot of times you just gotta try them out and see which plant your goldfish doesn't really like to eat that much. Make sure that you install enough lighting for plants, because if you want the plants to survive and grow healthily, you want to ensure that there is enough lighting to meet their needs as well. That's usually one of the most common mistakes that people make when they do a planted goldfish aquarium. They don't give the plants enough lighting, so even if the goldfish doesn't touch them at all, the plants will die away just because the lighting is not enough. So that you always have to keep in mind when you choose to go with a planted goldfish aquarium. So I hope this video is helpful, and please let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can post them in the comment box below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!